And we're back. Okay, so I couldn't make the DVD player work. I mean, I could, but I couldn't get it to stream, so this is probably my fault. But the tech guys might be here pretty soon, and they might be able to figure that out. I'd love to be showing you Glory Road. There's a great documentary from the 2014 Kinetic Grand Championship. Has some really cool footage in there. I suppose I could describe it to you, but it probably wouldn't be very entertaining. So, here I am back, Queen, a lot of paint buckets at your service. I am here at the Kinetic Museum Eureka. That's 518 A Street, A Street between 5 and 6 in Eureka. And we are the home for 5 decades of kinetic history, including the glorious pentacycle you can see right behind me. It's that red skeletal piece over there. That was the very first kinetic sculpture built by metal sculptor Hobart Brown back in 1969. Come on in, look around.
Oh no, you're filming. I'm waiting for her.
Okay. Hobart Brown cut up his son Justin's tricycle and made it into that sculpture right there that you can see on the plinth behind me. And then he had a friend, Jack Mays, who saw that, and he said, well, I can do better than that. And so Jack Mays built himself a kinetic sculpture, an interesting pedal-powered sculpture, and they decided to have a race. So that first year, hi, welcome to the Kinetic Museum.
Thank you.
We're streaming live on the internet at kineticgrandchampionship.com. So, Jack Mays and Hobart Brown both built beautiful kinetic sculptures for that first year, and then they decided to have a race in conjunction with the Ferndale Mother's Day Art Festival. So that first kinetic race was actually just 2 blocks down Main Street in Ferndale, and neither Hobart nor Jack won it. Actually, they ended up with close to 20 entries, and including some really interesting stuff, kinetic sculpture being a really wide category. And since it was just a land race and it was just those first 2 blocks, they could get pretty wild with the drive mechanisms and all the different things that made the sculptures work. Since it wasn't an all-terrain race like it is today, they were really unusual. There was a machine where you would climb up to the top of a ladder and get on a slide and slide down in a little cart, and that cart would draw a chain, and that chain would drive the whole thing forward. There was one where you were standing inside of a statue and you'd pick up one leg and move it forward, and pick up the other leg and move it forward. Because you couldn't do that now, because our race, the Kinetic Grand Championship, is nearly 50 miles over 3 days. It covers land, sand, water, and mud. Yes, they float. They are completely human-powered, totally all-terrain vehicles. You have a great day. Do stop by the Kinetic Grand Championship. Do stop by the Kinetic Museum Eureka. If you happen to be out and about in between those glorious spots, you can come by and see what's going on here, like these folks just did. We have the pentacycle, that beautiful sculpture on loan to us from the glorious Reason. Hobart Brown's son, Justin Hobart Brown, he has loaned us the pentacycle for display here in the Kinetic Museum. And just over my shoulder here, you'll see the wolf's head, and that is from Team Melvin. Team Melvin is legendary. They have been racing longer than anybody. They have more aces and more grand championship awards than any other team in kinetic existence. And they're not even from around here. They are from Port Townsend, I believe. Melvin came in, and they, they just rock it every year. Not only do they have a well-engineered 3-trike train that always gets attention from the engineers, but they're also super athletic and very fast, so they always get a really good time. And they've got killer art. Like, you can be fast and have good engineering and no art, and you're not getting anywhere. But if you're fast with good engineering and you've got killer art, you are a shoo-in. So here's this is from the 3 Little Pigs, and they had Team Melvin had a team called the 3 Little Pigs. And that's them there. You can see the wolf is chasing 2 pigs. I think the other pig was actually on their pit crew. And this was a grand championship team. Now this team has been featured in one of my favorite pieces of merchandise that we have available here at the Kinetic Museum. If you come by, you can get some great merch that's not available on the course. I had someone stop by just now to see if they can get an event shirt for this year because apparently they sold out on the plaza. So those are all gone. The Kinetic Grand Championship 2017 event shirts are all out there in the community. But if you come in here, you can get some exclusive stuff like this coloring page. And this is Team Melvin's team. The three little pigs there with the wolf chasing them. That wolf head you can see right behind me. And these were done by Lush Newton, a local artist who does some really great work. Lush made these coloring pages for us. And these are beautifully done. They're printed on heavyweight paper. They come in an acrylic bag with a backing board, and they come with crayons or markers, a set of crayons or a set of markers. So if you have somebody who likes to color in your life, maybe a young one, or maybe a not so young one, maybe a person who is taking part in that modern trend of coloring as a means of mental health, then you can get them a coloring page from the Kinetic Grand Championship. Team Melvin is one. We also have the Bouncing Friendly Gnome. See in there? Bouncing Gnome, guys, right there. And then one of my favorites, this is a full-on Kinetic poster featuring June Moxon's Kinetic Chicken. And that was her 20-foot tall Kinetic chicken made out of hammered aluminum that she ran. And if you look in there, you can see her machine, June, and her co-pilot. The Kinetic Grand Championship, of course, known as the triathlon of the art world. That's because you got to go through, you got to be fast, you got to be able to float, you got to be all-terrain. These sculptures do some amazing stuff. So if you stop by the Kinetic Museum, you can get some of these guys. And, like I said, my theory here is that something on the stream is better than nothing on the stream. So here I am talking about Kinetic merchandise. We are waiting for our team to get over to Dead Man's Drop. We've got somebody headed up there with a cell phone and a jump pack. I hear she hasn't ever been there before, so hopefully she hasn't been carried off by a mosquito. Okay. Another exclusive you can get here at the Kinetic Museum Eureka is this beautiful shirt with full color print of the 2004 Kinetic Sculpture Race poster. Now that is 2004, right? Yeah, 2004. This is one of our few full color shirts. This is a long sleeve on tan. They're all long sleeve right now because it's chilly in Humboldt. And this was done by Dwayne Flatmo. You might recognize his neo-cubist style. And that is Dwayne Flatmo's 2004 Kinetic Sculpture Race poster on a shirt there. These are available here at the museum. Quite a bargain, if I might add. Now you might have noticed that we call it the Kinetic Grand Championship, and it used to be the Kinetic Sculpture Race. In fact, when Hobart Brown founded it, it was the Kinetic Sculpture Race, and then it grew into the Great Arcata to Ferndale Grand Championship Kinetic Sculpture Race, and that is what it was for many, many years. Then in 2007, different people have been running the race in different ways, with and without Hobart, and there was an intellectual property dispute regarding the Kinetic Chicken and the name Kinetic Sculpture Race, and Hobart Brown was friends with a group of rutabaga queens, including Queen Shay, of course, Queen Foxy Biloxi, Queen Emma the Enchantress, Queen Monica the Entertainer, and some others, and they Hobart wanted somebody to just put the race on, regardless of who was paying for it or who was owning the intellectual property. He just wanted the race to happen. So he asked the queens if they could just put on the event. So in April of 2007, with just weeks to spare, they put on Humboldt's largest free-to-watch family event, the Kinetic Grand Championship. They founded Kinetic Universe as a fresh new nonprofit, and they renamed the race the Kinetic Grand Championship, and they put it on that year on a generous grant from a local Kinetic fan and friend of Hobart. And we have been running it ever since. Of course, the glorious founder passed away in 2008, and we miss him every day. But we try our hardest here in the Kinetic Universe to continue the traditions that were built up over those first 4 decades of kinetic sculpture racing. We do maintain the title Kinetic Grand Championship just so that we don't have to get tied into anything from the past. It's a fresh new thing. The Queen started Kinetic Universe, and here we go moving forward into the future. But that is why this is a Kinetic Sculpture Race t-shirt, and we sell Kinetic Grand Championship t-shirts. But you can buy this beautiful full color piece of Dwayne Flatmo art. You can wear it, or you can frame it, or you can cut it up and make a quilt out of it. I think this would make a really cool shopping bag too. Take those, tie up the bottom, make a really cool shopping bag. I have some other cool merchandise here from the Kinetic Museum I want to show you. I showed you my favorite, the coloring pages. Of course, I am an artist, clean a lot of paint buckets. I do love to color and to paint, and markers is like, really controlled painting. But because we're in Humboldt and it is chilly, we like to have hoodies. This is the Heart of Glory tie-dye. You can see there's a grid of 9 kinetic chickens on there. This is a hot pink tie-dye hooded sweatshirt. We have this in 2 colors. The chickens come in black or in gray. You can come down to the Kinetic Museum and grab one of these. If you are out of the area, Tuesday of next week, we are going to put up our store again with whatever stock that we have left over. And you might be able to catch one of these Heart of Glory tie-dyes there for you then. We have a wide variety of tie-dyed shirts and hoodies and the vintage shirts, pint glasses, and different things all here at the museum. For right now, because this weekend it's hard to track the stock that's out in the field, we just shut down our online store just for this weekend. But it'll be back up on Tuesday. If you really, really want this thing and you are not in Humboldt and you can't come by right now and get it, then you can check out the website and the merchandise store next week. That's Tuesday after Memorial Day. So let's see. Brought over another one. Now this is I have this hoodie myself. I like to design merchandise that I like. I'm a fan of purple and pink. So this is a zip-up hooded sweatshirt. Let me see. It's a zip-up hoodie. We're fond of our hoodies here in Humboldt. It's always a little chilly. It's always nice to have an extra layer. And even though it rains here all the time, it never rains that much. So it's more like rain. It's like fog rain. It's like an aggressive fog. It's just dense. You're just walking through a cloud. So a hoodie is usually enough. You very seldom need a raincoat or a poncho out here. This is why we like these. This is not black. I know it's a little hard to see on camera. It's actually a very, very dark purple, which I find just absolutely delicious. This is what half of my house looks like, super dark purple. And this nice, beautiful shell pink on here, a good basic pink. It says, "For the glory," because that's the reason why we do this insanity that keeps us sane. All for the glory. With some lovely little hibiscus flowers there. Sorry, not hibiscus, rhododendrons. There, because that's one of the local flowers here on the North Coast. Up here in Humboldt, we've got tall trees, we've got roadies, we've got beautiful rivers. We have the glorious Humboldt Bay, which is where our machines will be tomorrow. Right now, teams are making their way from the Arcata Plaza through the Bottoms along the 255 freeway, where they are blocking traffic all over the place. Then they're going to go out to the Manila Dunes Community Center, where they're having a big party. They're going to, the Dunes Community Center is having a party. Our racers are going to stop there, switch over into sand gear, have a quick break, maybe a sandwich really fast. I'm always fond of peanut butter and jelly on the course because you want that salt, fat, protein, sugar, and go. Lots of water going through them. Then they're going to head out into the dunes over along the beach for about a mile, back up into the dunes where they're going to go up and down Dead Man's Drop. And we are currently waiting for our camera person to get to Dead Man's. I have been promised that she knows my phone number. So as soon as she calls, I'll be turning off our end of the stream, and hopefully she will be streaming for you there. Malena, I think is her name. Well, we'll find out, won't we? We'll find out together, friends. Meanwhile, I got a press packet from the goddess Jeno. She hands out these bags. Every team gets one of these bags. Do a little unbagging here for you. In each bag is a goddess Jeno bribe. If you've been in the race, you know that these are highly coveted. I have quite a collection of these, thank goodness. One for every year, and it says Goddess Jeno, and then this year it says 2017. Now the Goddess Jeno is the head judge of the Kinetic Grand Championship, and she has been involved for